Hi guys. Right, just to let you know, this is a me talking video mostly, so if you're expecting to watch me break things or tear things apart or fix things, then we need to go elsewhere. However, this one follows on from one of our first videos about the unit that we took over, and is probably a tiny little bit of, well, we got that wrong. The unit has been less than ideal over the last few months, and I know I went quite all out on being excited about it, and it was exciting and it was great. However, there were a few questions we perhaps should have asked and a couple of things we didn't know about when we moved in. These have now well and truly bitten us in the backside. So at the moment, this is my partner's restaurant, and we are in the process of moving the office over here temporarily. We're looking at new premises in Horndean, but we've been unfortunately left with no option but to actually walk away from the offices that we started filming the videos in. Some of it is also the reason why we've not got the videos out as quickly as we wanted to. Unfortunately, we weren't aware that there was a company doing aggregate over the back of the unit and large amounts of heavy trucks, which if you watch my videos you will occasionally have heard the trucks. It's reached a point where I can no longer work down there because I need the peace and quiet to focus on the work I'm doing. I need the peace and quiet for the filming, and I just can't get that down there anymore, and I found myself more and more working from home, which defeats the object of the whole place to start with. On top of that, these heavy lorries have taken their toll on the roadways and that in there, and it's actually made it downright dangerous to move around the site in the evening, especially as the lavatory block is on the end of all the run of units. So that means a walk out in the twilight or the dark, and you've got sort of half-foot deep potholes and generally disturbed road surface everywhere. There have been some other issues with parking where we've not been able to get near the unit to load and unload. We've been very busy, and 7 o'clock in the morning when you've got a van to load and you realise you can't get near your unit is less than ideal. And then there's been intermittent power issues as well. The mains wiring down there hasn't been great, and this culminated in Friday with a power failure on a line that we had already warned the landlord about 4 weeks ago. We had smell of burning PVC in the office, and we brought this up. We couldn't find out if it was something that we were doing or not, so in the end we broke out the FLIR and discovered it was the wiring in the walls causing the problem. Nothing was done, and this led to the cable that supplies our unit burning out on Friday afternoon after an electrical fault, and has left a large area of the units down there without power, and my unit and the unit either side without power until late yesterday afternoon. That's cost me 4 days of work, at which point I had to make the call, is this really the right thing to do? Spoke with our landlord and raised a couple of questions. One, damage to our equipment that the Sparkies had done, and the job that the Sparkies had done, to my eyes, didn't meet the requirements for electrical code. I've since had it confirmed that the work they've done is not to code. This was brought up by the landlord with their maintenance guy, who immediately threw all sorts of accusations at me, called doubt into my personal qualifications, and at the end of the day accused me of being a liar. He did, however, suggest that I check the CCTV in our unit, which hasn't worked for 3 days because the power was off, so I thought that was a nice touch. So we've now had to call it quits. We were looking at moving to another unit on site. A quick look through the windows of the unit suggested that the mains was in a similar, if not worse, condition. And as suggested by a couple of friends of mine and a couple of business acquaintances, it may be a quieter area, it may be a slightly larger unit, but the same level of care and attention is going to be paid to all of the units down there. the lady that deals with us, Barb, bless her socks, she's done everything she can. And she's up against the actual landlord now, and she's caught in the middle, and I really don't fault her at all. But it's not what we need now. One of the reasons we picked that place was room to grow, and it's just not worth the trouble. So we are hopefully moving to new premises in the next week or so. It means everything's got to come out of that unit, come over here to the restaurant, and then be redistributed or moved down there. The plan is to hit the shop as well while we're going through this. We, in theory, have a quiet month and get everything sorted and try and get back on track. The new location is within another unit, but it's a quieter location. There won't be any lorries. It's better security, better lighting. We've got a little bit more space, and it should give me a lot more freedom to expand this, do more videos, and really sort of get into where I wanted to get, and hopefully stop the having to bring stuff back home from work to work on. So yeah, I guess the takeaway from this is, if you're looking at somewhere like this, especially on a farm or that, take a good look at your surroundings, take a note, sit down there for an hour or so. There is a cafe on the site that we're leaving, and if I'd have thought about it, I'd have gone and sat in the cafe for an hour or so with the laptop and just watched what was going on. And turns out I should have spoken to a few. Unfortunately, I tried to get a Sparky on site to look at it for us, so I could send an official report with our letter to terminate tenancy. And we've discovered that two of the Sparkies that we've spoken to won't even go on site. Not a good sign, really. So yeah, check everything out. Do your background checks, do your due diligence, and just get an idea for the lay of the land. I mean, I don't know how much of this we could have foreseen. In hindsight, I suppose the signs were there. It is an almighty pain in the backside. It's something I really do not need at the moment because I'm having to cancel and delay jobs. But it is what it is, and hopefully we're on onwards and upwards to bigger things. We don't really have the room to grow in the new premises, so we are probably going to have to push that place right up to the wire before we can make a jump and go into a full-sized industrial unit ourselves. With the plans we've got for this year, that shouldn't be a problem. It's just a lot more work that I didn't need. Anyway, if you sat here and watched me waffle through this, thanks for your attention, and hopefully we can start getting these videos going again. I was going to hope to get the Renault 2 video done for you this week. I can't see it happening, to be completely honest. There's just so much going on, although obviously with a major office move, and we are moving 15 miles, it would be nice to have a vehicle I can use to do the move with. But we'll see how that goes. I'd like to film it, but the situation being what it is, it might be a case of I don't have time to work around the camera. We're just going to do that rocker change and be done with it. And maybe I'll just show you the death and devastation we find in there. But thanks for your time, and hopefully catch up soon, and hopefully the videos will be back to normal soon as well. Take care.